Hey guys, it's Lynx here with another episode of Brutal Lynx. And as you can see, once again, I'm in my office. Mostly because, well, A, it's my lunch break, makes it the easiest time to do this. And I was watching some videos, of course, as I usually do. And this was going to be a video response to MsVictoriaShantrell. I just discovered her YouTube channel, which will be linked below. Girl is on fire. On fire. I love it. As much as I enjoy the more comedic side of YouTube, I enjoy watching funny stuff for, people being angry and ratchet or whatever, because a lot of times that can be funny. Every now and then, it's refreshing. It's a breath of fresh air to hear from a young person. Now, understand, I'm in my 30s, I'm not old, but, she's 23, I think. And to hear from a young person who is so passionate, who is so well put together, who is able to express herself clearly, concisely, without having to resort to using stereotypes or anything else like that in order to get a view or in order to get her point across. It's refreshing, and to actually hear from someone who speaks with an educated mind on subjects that are subjects outside of pop culture, outside of who's doing who, outside of Chris Brown and Rihanna. It's refreshing. And a couple of her videos I wanted to respond to, but I can't sit here and make a damn video for every single video that I want to respond to from her. So I figure I'll just make one big video. It'll be a regular Brutal Lynx episode, but of course, no ending, no beginning, stuff like that, because I'm at work, yada yada. And because of whatever, I don't want to be plugging my stuff all over her page and everything. So anyhow, I guess I will just deal with 2 videos for the moment, and then I'm sure, I'm sure as things go on, I'm going to have more and more to go through. Mostly because she brings up a lot of topics that I want to talk about. She also brings up a lot of topics that I had planned on talking about. So hopefully this won't be too much of an infringement on what she's doing, but I'm sure a lot of other people are talking about this stuff too. So I wrote down the 2 of them right here, at least the 2 things I wanted to talk about. So if you see me go like that every now and then, that's why. The first one, the black participation in future presidential races. This is important because it really does beg the question of, did we... pardon me, Jesus, that was not cute. Hey, I'm on my lunch break. We saw the black community come out in record numbers to vote. And that begs the question of, did they do it simply because there was a black presidential candidate on the ballot? And I think a lot of that answer is probably yes, sadly. And I say sadly because it's a good thing to see that people are coming out and that they are supporting another black person as opposed to hating. A lot of today's pop culture, a lot of today's youth, we tend to hate on each other a lot. A lot of black people don't want to see other black people do well. They want to call them Uncle Toms. They want to say they're acting white. They want to come up with all this other bullshit as opposed to helping that person or giving some kind of uplifting message to that person to help them continue to move forward. We see it a lot. We see it all the time. You see it on Facebook. You see it in Twitter. You see it in real life. You see it on the news. It's everywhere. So that is the sad part about it. The great part about it, though, was that we came, we saw, we represented, we got out and voted. Regardless of who they voted for, they got out and they voted. They exercised a right that all of our previous ancestors, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents fought to get. And so many of us refused to use. So it was a good thing to see these people come out, but it was sad that it was only because there was a presidential hopeful that was black. Now, I'm sure that that was not the only reason, because as I have said previously, I don't give a shit who you are or what you are. If you cannot pass two very critical questions, you do not get my vote. And question one is, are you going to get me blown up? Question two is, are you going to keep me a second-class citizen? Now, had the presidential hopeful Barack Obama said, I am not here for gay rights, I'm not about it, I'm not here to hear about it, and on top of that, we're going to go to war. But Romney said, actually, I am here about rights for everyone. I want women to get equal pay. I want gays to be able to get married. I want everyone who is an American citizen and pays their taxes to enjoy the full benefits of being an American citizen. And had he said, personally, with my religion, my feelings on it, hey, I can't go there. I don't agree with it. But they're still American citizens. Their God is not necessarily my God. I cannot impose my will on them. And so I am for equal application of the law, equal rights, equal pay. I'm for all of it. I would have voted for Romney. So for me, it had nothing to do with the fact that the president was black. The fact that the president was black gave me hope towards the future for black people. Because once you have a black American president, anything is possible. Anything is possible. There are no more excuses. It is kind of like, this is jacked up, but it's kind of like watching and I've seen the videos of this called No More Excuses or No Excuses or something like that. To watch a person who is fairly overweight do aerial acrobatics without the assistance of a trampoline, without the assistance of wires, without the assistance of another person, lets you know that guess what? You can go out there and you can do that too. There are no more excuses, and that's what that does. That's what having a black president did. It took away all of those excuses that everyone else had and lets you see that anything is possible. Anything you want is possible. That was very important. But now in terms of future presidential elections, all I can do is hope that the young people, the black people, the Latin people, all those people who are the minority, because what you have to understand is that when things are put up to a majority vote, the majority will win. When you have any minority coming out to vote, to have their voices heard, to have their opinions heard, to have their concerns addressed, I can only hope that that experience for them will spur them to go to the next vote. Hey, look, we affected change. Our vote did something. We affected change. Let's continue to affect change. Let's continue to have a positive impact on this country. Let's continue to have a positive impact on our children. They're watching us. They're watching us. So, as far as black people coming out to vote in future presidential elections, I can only hope that they will. And I can only hope that they will come out strong, and that they will go for what's right for everyone. You cannot impose your morals on other people. And this is what I'm hoping that they understood with their vote this time around, was that they had a point of view, but that point of view is not necessarily for everyone, and that if they voted for Obama, that it was because of the fact that he is for everyone. Not just the rich, not just the poor, not just the straight, not just the gay, not just the male, not just the female. You have to think without that surrogate mind. You have to think with your own mind, and you also have to be considerate of other people. Now, a lot of those votes for Romney had a lot to do with racism. Racism still exists. If you are of any type of minority in this country, you know damn well that racism still exists. You experience it on a daily basis. I experience it on a daily basis, and I work at what is, it's so hard to say this because I don't want to say where I work, but I work in the Ivy League, and I still deal with racism on a daily basis. From the young people, no less. So, yeah, we know that it's still out there. The vote showed it. No other time in your life are you going to get to see the country color-coded into smart and not smart, as you would see during an election. But that is that, and that's my feeling on, the black people coming out to vote. Fantastic. Hopefully their reasons were genuine. I'm going to give everyone the benefit of the doubt and say that their reasons were genuine for voting the way that they voted, if they voted at all. The black participation in the vote was definitely uplifting to see. It was great to see that we have not lost that ability to come together. And I say that because I'm deathly afraid of the fact that most of our young people don't really know struggle. They don't know protest. They don't know what it means to fight. They know what it means to fight each other. They know what it means to make excuses. They know and those of us who don't make excuses and don't fight each other know what it means to succeed. And that's great. But none of us had to march with King. None of us had to, be beaten up for drinking at the wrong water fountain. None of us had to deal with that. And because we have not had to deal with that revolution, so many of us have become complacent in the way things are, in the status quo. And the truth of the matter is, you should never become complacent. You should always strive for improvement. And that is what I'm hoping this showed people. This gave me hope that we have not lost that ability to come together and fight for something. As a gay man, I found it to be a catch-22. Because in the black community, the gay thing is not something that is easily accepted. And a lot of that has to do with machismo and perceptions of masculinity that are actually false. 100% false, because I'm sorry. The guy who called me a faggot is the same guy with 10 kids and ain't taking care of any of them. You're not a man, you're not masculine, you're a child still. So, as a gay person, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm happy to see that we were able to come together, the gay people were able to come together and that we weren't busy ripping each other apart over bad outfits, messy lace fronts, and ghetto-ass behavior. I'm glad that we weren't doing that, and that instead we were actually coming together for a greater good of all of us. That being said, I'm going to go on to the next subject because I don't really know if there's anything else that I can add to this except for I'm glad that the black people got out there and voted. I'm sad that a lot of it was only because the president was black, but I am hopeful, very hopeful for the future for the future of black Americans. And our ability to actually think critically and to get out there and affect change. I have hope. That's what that says. I have hope. The other thing was interracial dating. Oh, God, that is that girl. Miss Victoria, honey, you are treading on some dangerous ground, and I love you for it. And why do I say you're treading on dangerous ground? I say that you're treading on dangerous ground because it's a very thin line between a preference and discrimination. What do I mean by that? I'm with you, girl. I don't want to be anyone's fetish. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the guy that, okay, you're with me because I'm black, or because of the rumors of black men, or because my skin is, whatever. I would rather you were with me because of me. But that being said, visual attraction is the initial attraction. And what you like personally to see is what's going to allow you to open that door a little further. Or at least I can speak from the point of view of a man, and I can speak from the point of view of myself. I don't know how that works for girls or anybody else, but if anyone's like me, you see something attractive and you're like, ooh, I want to get to know that. Then you talk to that and you will know from that point forward whether or not it's just going to be a quick little fun fling or if it's going to be something that can go somewhere. Things that I hear all the time or heard all the time as a gay black man were things like, especially in the bear community, because, I mean, we're a minority of a minority of a minority. So when you get that going, and given that the majority is the majority everywhere, you look at the bear community, and it's a lot of white people. And a lot of these white guys, I'm telling you, I think they're hot as fuck. I'm not even going to trip on that. But when I would hear things like, I'm not usually into black guys, but that's my warning sign. That's my warning signal. Like, you're not normally into black guys, but somehow God has shined his light on me on this day to be so blessed that you're going to find me attractive. I don't think so. Wrong thing to say. We're not going anywhere. We're not even getting in the bed together. So when it comes down to interracial dating, I've had ups, I've had downs. I tend to date interracial. And I tend to date interracial because my community is not really, I'm a minority. An out gay black man. I'm a minority. So you kind of have no choice but to go on ahead and be interracial and to be open. And given that my current state of being is one in which I am constantly faced with adversity due to my look, due to my lack of accent or apparent accent, or the fact that I have a beard, the fact that I have tattoos, the fact that I'm gay, that being open to me seems to be the only way, because I'm learning from their mistakes, the mistakes of the ignorant, and the ignorant are ignorant because they're closed. So I tend to make myself more open. That being said, I am getting ready to say something that is probably going to get me flamed, bashed, yelled at, yada yada. So I'm going to preface it with this. This issue is my issue alone. It is in my head. It's nowhere else. It's in my head. It has nothing to do with the community as a whole. But now let me go on with what I'm going to say that's probably going to turn people off. I don't date black guys. What does that mean? That sounds horrible, doesn't it? I don't date black guys. Why? Why don't you date black guys? This is something that I'm sure a lot of people can probably relate to. Product of a broken home, single mom. Mom is not dead, so she wanted a man, and she got a man, and that man was an abusive alcoholic. And that is what I grew up with. So when I look at another black guy in that sense of a relationship, in the back of my head, these are mental scars. In the back of my head, all I see is that person. So when people see me dating white people or Latin people or anything else, and they're like, oh, he's a race traitor, they are not taking the time to understand that different strokes for different folks. Some people have a preference, and some people have that preference for a reason. Some people have that preference, and that reason is that's just what they like. Some people have a preference due to mental scarring. Some people have a preference due to something completely superficial. For me, that preference is due to mental scarring, emotional scarring, things that I have been working to fix. Because I don't think it's right. I don't want to shut anybody out. I never wanted to shut out an entire racial group that I'm a part of, no less. I never wanted to do that. But there are mental scars there that I cannot get over, or that I'm having a hard time getting over. So I always found myself dating outside of my race. Now, all of that being said, this has nothing to do with, oh, all black men are whores, all Latin men are violent, all white men are serial killers, because crazy people exist in every single race. You can't be like, oh, well, I don't date white people because they crazy. That's bullshit, because there's just as many crazy black people out there as there are crazy white people out there. It's just in this country we happen to be a minority. Same thing with any other race, creed, or color. So I really don't think anyone, if they have the mental capacity for it, should shut anyone else out. You know, when I see these posts from other black women that are saying all these white women are taking our beautiful black men, blah 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 blah. No, no, that just happened to be what they like. Or it just happened to be the person they fell in love with. Maybe they didn't look at the color at all. Maybe they saw pretty eyes and nice nose, and maybe they liked those physical features, and it had nothing to do with the person's color. The girl could have been purple, but if she had those same physical features, the guy was going to be all about it. And vice versa. You know, if the guy was purple but had all those facial features that she liked and those body features that she liked, she's going to go for it. I've seen it before where it's like, I barely even noticed that he's black, or I barely noticed that he's white, or I hear that a lot. So when it comes down to interracial dating, I kind of feel the way of, do you? And don't give a shit about what other people think. Now, things like families and everything else being against it and whatever, we're dealing with a generational gap there. I mean, there are still people alive today who remember what it meant for them to walk through the front door and blacks to walk through the kitchen. There are still people today who remember that. You know, my mother is a product of the 50s and the 60s. I mean, that fades with time. Change is not instant. And we're starting to see it with a lot of the young people that are coming around and stuff like that. Don't get it twisted. Like I said earlier, I deal with racism here. And I work in the Ivy League, for crying out loud, with young people who are allegedly, supposedly smart. And I still deal with racism. So, but it's definitely nowhere near as much as I had to deal with, say, growing up, and you're having your white friends and their parents say, we don't want you playing with our child. Why? Did I do something? Did I, you know? And they go, well, no, because you people are thieves, or you people are this. Yeah, but that's a generational thing, and I think that will go away. Yes, when you marry someone, you marry their family, but you're not living with their family. You don't sleep with their family. Their family is important, but their family really should have no impact on your day-to-day life. It really shouldn't. Nor should their family's opinion. And truth be told, a lot of families are going to be like, nobody's good enough for my son. Whether you are white, black, whatever, nobody's good enough for my son. Or nobody's good enough for my daughter. And I mean, that's just something you're just going to have to deal with. So, interracial dating, do you? Give everybody a chance. Let them prove themselves to be unworthy. Give them the benefit of the doubt. If this dude comes up to you and he's white, you're black, and he's just like, hey, you know what? I like you. I saw you from across the way, and it was banging. If you look at him and he's reasonably attractive, give him a chance. Why not? Go out on a date. This doesn't mean you have to fuck him, but go out on a date. See what he has to say. You'll know within a few minutes whether or not he's with you because you're black, or if he's with you because he's genuinely interested in what you have to say. And in terms of black people showing up for elections, I have hope. I have hope. So there is my long-ass video reply to MsChantrell. And MsChantrell, a message for you. I love you, love your hair, love your look, love your attitude, and I especially love that you hold yourself with poise, grace, nerve, talent. It's all there. And I would love to do a collab, or, you know, hey, when you're doing your Google Plus Hangout, hit me up. Let me know. I'm sure that we can talk some stuff back and forth. We both have opinions, and I'm sure that we're probably not going to agree on everything, but therein lies the joy of meeting new people and new smart people. Because maybe I can show you a different point of view, and maybe you can show me a different point of view. Other than that, guys, this has been Lynx for Brutal Lynx. I don't know what episode this is. I didn't bother to look it up because I'm just like, I got to get this video out before my lunch break is over. So there you have it. I will see you guys later. And hey, tell me, what do you think? In the link down below, in the comment section down below, tell me what you think about the African American turnout for the current presidency, as well as what you think is going to happen with future presidential elections. And what are your thoughts on interracial dating? I don't really care either way because I don't have to sleep with the people. You do what you want to do and who you want to do and enjoy it, you know? Enjoy life, enjoy people, enjoy sex, enjoy everything. That's what it's here for. It's here for you to enjoy it, not to contemplate, not to bash, not to hate, not to say what if. Just do. Do it.